Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. Hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Lots of food was eaten, fireworks were enjoyed, and sports were watched, mainly baseball. We will talk about the local baseball club, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and their historic weekend for the worst. It was just completely and totally horrid baseball, at least on one side, of the ledger here. Pitching was fantastic, but the bats, yikes. They were horrible. We'll talk about them here in a matter of moments. Also, we will talk about beginning the show today with Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Ramsey still on cloud nine right now that both of those guys are Steelers. Some new updates on them in their journeys as Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Rodgers getting the receiver group, as well as Pat Freiermuth. I still think he's the lone tight end out there in California. Anyways, he's got those guys out there in California. A new video today was dropped of them continuing to work out together, getting on the same page, developing some chemistry before the season. And we'll also talk about Jalen Ramsey, now marking the 1-week anniversary of that historic trade, Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Minkah Fitzpatrick and a late-round pick swap. Still very crazy that happened. Jalen Ramsey got in touch with one of the all-time greats for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was seen for the first time in a black and gold apparel. So we'll talk about that. And also the Pittsburgh Penguins, their rookie development camp wrapped up today with a tournament between three teams. They played 4-on-4 hockey. We'll talk about the bright spots, the standouts in that tournament, and who won here later on in the show, as well as any other news that we just so happen to come across. We're going to do things pretty nice and simple here today. Not too much news, 4th of July weekend, so everyone was off doing their own thing, enjoying some time off. But before we get started here today, I will remind you, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like, share, and leave a comment in the comment section. I can pop those up on the screen at a moment's notice. Any thoughts, opinions, questions that you have, put them in there, and we can interact that way. Keep things nice and loose here today. Also, I apologize if I hit the wrong thing from time to time. I update on the streaming platform that I use. An update has been done, so some things are a little out of place, but we'll battle through it. First things first today, like I said, we're going to start off Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Rodgers. They continuing ready here for training camp. I will, give me a second here. I will pop this up on the screen. Rodgers, in his first media availability with the black and gold back at minicamp a couple of weeks ago, said that he is going to try to get the guys, his receivers, out to Malibu to work out with him. Of course, Malibu, where he spends time in the offseason. But if you look here, this video today just dropped from Proactive SP, showing highlights there of Rodgers and company working out, I assume today, if not over the weekend. See Roman Wilson there, Calvin Austin. I'm sure DK Metcalf, he is an absolute animal in the weight room there. But Rodgers and them on the field working out, developing some chemistry. Good to see. Also, there was another concert this weekend. Not sure where it was or who it was. Rodgers still repping the black and gold out there, showing off a new Steelers hat. But this just, it's not the biggest news, but it has to get you giddy. Like, having Rodgers in the black and gold in his final year in the NFL, he said so himself, makes you think he's going to go all in, and we are going to see a different Aaron Rodgers than what the NFL has kind of taken for the norm. Those 2 years in New York, I think they did a lot of damage on his, reputation as a player and really as a person, but that's, we'll leave the off the field stuff off the field here. But as a player, many people think like, oh, he's washed. He isn't going to, do anything here in the black and gold. It's just going to be another normal 9-8 season for the Steelers. I hope that that's, not the case here. Looking at this video here, Rodgers looks as healthy as he's ever been. Looks like he is going to, go all in, push through the pain, give everything that he does this year just a little bit more. And I think we're seeing it right here, developing this, relationship here with these guys. Everyone looks to be on the same page, and we'll see what happens when some real football begins here. Of course, there is a football game this month. Steelers aren't a part of it, but hey, training camp right around the corner here in a couple weeks, and before too long, preseason games will begin. So excited there to see Aaron Rodgers and the guys getting together. Again, not the most newsy thing, but again, it is exciting to see. Something else, though, that is pretty newsworthy. How about this right here? Let me pop this up on the screen. We just talked about it being the 1 week anniversary of the Jalen Ramsey to the Steelers trade. He got in touch with one of the most best and famous and likable Steelers of all time. Right here, this posted from Ryan Clark. Jalen Ramsey FaceTiming with Troy Polamalu. Ryan Clark, of course, saying right there, connecting the greats, Steelers legend, one Steelers legend, and the next, Troy Polamalu and Jalen Ramsey. Clark setting up this FaceTime call is obviously cool by him. I'm not sure who initiated it, whether it was, Troy getting a hold of Ramsey. If I had to guess, it's probably Ramsey getting along with Ryan Clark, big media personality at ESPN, saying, "Hey, I know that you have Troy's, phone number and all that. Why don't you send that over to me? I'd love to get in contact with him." Of course, Ramsey, when he got traded to the Steelers, dropped that whole video breaking the news himself, the whole video saying, the black and gold, a historic franchise, where the best players of all time play, and now he's going there himself. So I'm sure that was Ramsey, saying, I want to learn more possibly about the Steelers culture and maybe get a little bit of advice, what I'm walking into here in Pittsburgh, maybe a little bit of advice about Mike Tomlin, his new head coach, from a guy who's arguably, up there with Mean Joe Green and Jack Lambert, the greatest Pittsburgh Steeler defender, at least, of all time. So cool to see that from Jalen Ramsey. Also, there was another picture of him out there wearing a Steelers shirt the first time we saw him in Steelers apparel. Not sure the young man he is pictured with in that photo, if you've seen it. But looks happy, looks ready to go. He did comment on Ryan Clark's Instagram post of this, saying, "Man, I appreciate that, big bro, Ryan Clark. Much love. I can't wait to be a part of something special." Clark then responded, "Man," said, "Happy to have you, my brother." So looks like Jalen Ramsey making a good first impression with the Steelers, both the fan base and alumni. Will be exciting to see him actually in that Steelers helmet, in that fresh number 5 jersey. Still wonder if he slid a couple racks Cam Johnston's away for the number or not. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out someday. But again, just super exciting to see this icon, really one of the best defenders in the NFL over the past decade now, in the black and gold, learning from one of the best defenders in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are your guys' thoughts? A week now past the trade. Interested to hear what you guys still think about that. I still call it a win. I've talked about it before on here. Sure, lots of people are upset. Well, not upset, but sad that we had to let Minka go. But I think we can all be honest with ourselves here, saying that the defense, it has been underachieving over the past couple of years. And Fitzpatrick, I'm pretty sure as one of the leaders on that defense, he had more blame than others there. Not saying that, he was the most to blame. I mean, that you can point fingers in a whole bunch of directions there. But, Minka, again, 1 interception in 28 games, not earning his keep in terms of the money that we're paying him. And, hey, if you have to ship him off to get a generational corner like Jalen Ramsey there, one of the best in the NFL over the past decade, then you got to do it. One thing's for sure, I never thought that, going back, 9-10 years ago now, that when Jalen Ramsey and the Jacksonville Jaguars knocked the Steelers out of the playoffs, that you'd be saying, hey, someday that Jalen Ramsey, he's going to be a Steeler. I would have called you crazy. But glad to have him here. Also, Jonnu Smith, we've heard, I think, a couple statements from him. He's very happy to be Pittsburgh Steeler as well. How he'll fit into this offense, we'll have to wait and see. I like to think that good things are going to come and that we will see a continuation of his success from the Miami Dolphins, reuniting with Arthur Smith. So lots of good, hopefully, here to come. I think training camp begins the 24th. I want to say the players, they will report to St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania on Wednesday, the 23rd. If I'm mistaken, it's either the 23rd or the 24th. They will report to St. Vincent, I think. And then I think they have a practice maybe that Friday, sort of like a light practice to get everyone's feet wet there at St. Vincent. So exciting football right around the corner. I think I just saw yesterday 46 days now till college football as well. I'm not going to talk too much about college football, but I definitely will be watching it a whole lot more than I have in the past, just because of all the quarterback prospects that the Steelers could be going after. But exciting time. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Rodgers seem to be implementing well in the black and gold. Any thoughts, opinions, questions that you have on that, get those in the comments section right now. Going to also one more thing on the Jalen Ramsey Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. I just saw this right before I went live. The Miami Dolphins, think it was right after the trade happened, said, okay, we're going to be looking for a tight end now. They just completed a trade, officially. This was news of this broke, I think, last week. But they are going to acquire Darren Waller and bring him out of retirement from the New York Giants for a late round pick swap. Wonder if any of those picks in that deal are, possibly the 5th round pick that the Steelers got. Who knows? But yeah, Darren Waller, now a Miami Dolphin. 6 of you in here right now. Welcome to the stream. I've seen the number bump up a little bit since we've been live. I appreciate you all joining me here this evening. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Turn on notifications as well. We are up to 461 subscribers on the channel. Gained a few more over the weekend. I appreciate it. Much love. Of course, a big numbers week for the channel last week. Of course, breaking down the Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jalen Ramsey trade. Also, general manager Omar Khan on our most recent stream. That was a Thursday afternoon stream. Omar Khan receiving a 3-year extension to remain general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers through the 2028 season. Love seeing that as well. Think Omar's doing a good job. I give him a solid B+ for what he has done so far as Steelers general manager. This team still got a little bit ways to go before they are, in my eyes, year after year, consistent contenders. And not just, contenders to win a playoff game, but to, go to a Super Bowl. We'll see how things go this year. But I think overall, he has done a adequate job as general manager and deserves over the next 3 years to see what the result of his moves will be. Moving on here, ladies and gentlemen. Wanted to start off the stream today, talking about Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers looking promising at least a little bit for this upcoming season. Wanted to start off things a little jovial here on a Monday. Now, here's where we take all of that good feelings and we throw them out the window, at least for the next 5 minutes or so, because the Pittsburgh Pirates, they played baseball this weekend, and yeah, I'm not even going to try to explain, how they did. Needless to say, they fell back down to earth, and they didn't fall back down to earth with a thud. No, they fell back down to earth like a meteor from space, hitting an open desert and creating a crater the size of a state. It was absolutely horrible baseball, at least offensive-wise, after absolutely decimating the New York Mets 2 series ago. I think the final score of that series over 3 games was the Pirates scoring 40 runs to the Mets 3, something like that. And then after that series, sweeping the St. Louis Cardinals, shutting them out in all 3 games, they decided to take all that momentum that they had and waste it away and just let it wither away and completely die right in front of us. They went on the West Coast, took on the Seattle Mariners over the weekend, and things went as well as a bug meeting a windshield. Starting off game 1, I'm going to just breeze through these games real quick. Not going to get into too much detail because really you can't. Game 1, Mariners won that 6-0. The win streak ended there for the 10th time on the season. The Pirates were shut out. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper catcher for the Mariners, he now has 35 home runs this season, hit 34 and 35 in game 1 of this series. He is legit. That is an absolute weapon with the bat. He hit 2 home runs off of Bailey Falter, and the game wasn't even close. You can just tell. Hopefully it was like a jet lag thing, but they weren't even going to be competitive in that game. And honestly, if they were going to just have that one game as a complete and total dud, at least it was on the 4th of July. Everyone's, has something else that they could be doing that day. So, yeah, that's how things went game one. Game two, Pirates 0, Mariners 1. A 1-0 loss again for this ball club. And that was their 11th shutout loss of the season. Pirates batters in that game, I think they had 2 hits. Both of them came from Spencer Horwitz, who is batting leadoff recently. They didn't make it to second base. They only made it to first. The 2 hits from Spencer Horwitz and maybe a stray walk or so mixed in there. Horrid. Just, I don't think the Bucks have done that since in 4 years is when the last time they've done that. I don't know exactly when, but they didn't even make it to second base. And that was for the first time in 4 years, back when this team was hardcore in the middle of tear everything down to the studs, rebuild it all from the ashes up. And then yesterday's ball game, Paul Skeens on the bump for the Pirates, maybe praying, please, Paul Skeens, you are pretty much God in this city right now. Please save us from this nightmare series. Not even the great Paul Skeens could save this team and their pathetic offense. 1-0 final. Again, 12th shutout of the season. The Bucks, they get shut out in all 3 games. More on that here in a couple of seconds. Skeens in the ball game, 5 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, no runs. I think the home run was given up by Carmen Majinski to Randy Arozarena, and literally in the first batter after Skeens was pulled from the game. Skeens struck out 10, walked none, only threw 78 pitches. That is very odd and confusing. Skeens, usually throughout the year, at the beginning of the year, you'll see pitchers, only go like max 5-6 innings, not go too high above, like 85, 90 pitches, because, you're just starting out the year. You want to build them up as the year goes on. It seems it's been the opposite for the Pirates. Well, Skeens, he did have that normal start where he was, getting, only going like 80, anywhere between 80 and 90 pitches. And then we saw him, his pitch count start to tick up and up over his starts. And now we're coming back down. And I don't understand why. That's pretty much the one glaring critique that I have of Donnie Kelly and how he's done as Pirates manager so far is that we've now seen Skeens. I think his last start, he threw 85 pitches. And we were like, okay, I maybe, you can pull him there, but maybe, other guys get pulled there, but not Skeens. And now 78 pitches yesterday. I don't know why they're saving his arm because, yeah, like, I'm not going to say that the Pirates, they have a chance to win that game yesterday because they're absolutely terrible with the bats. But if you leave Paul Skeens in there, at least to start the next inning, I like to think that, you get Randy Arozarena out and then, that's not the lone run that breaks the camel back. I don't know why he pulled him. Maybe they're saving him for, a sunnier day. And by sunnier day, I mean next year because this year is a complete and total loss. Or maybe they just want Skeens to pitch in the All-Star game, which, by the way, congratulations, Skeens, was voted to the All-Star game. He is the lone Pirate heading there. No shock whatsoever because take away his win-loss record. He's one of the best pitchers in the majors. His win-loss record is not on him. It's on the bats, making it being on a holy crusade to not score a single run for him when he's pitching. So, congratulations to Skeens on being named an All-Star for the second time in his 2-year career. He's 2 for 2. Also wonder if he's going to start, but, still though, back to what this team is. They've failed him at every single point. That was the only bright spot yesterday is that we got to watch Paul Skeens pitch. Also, O'Neal Cruz, shout out to him. Looks like he is starting to refine his skills out there in center field become, a more natural center fielder. An absolute howitzer yesterday from center field that actually saved a run in the bottom of the second inning, bottom of the first, actually. No, yeah, bottom of the first. Yeah, Cruz single hit to center field. The shortstop J.P. Crawford waved around third base. O'Neal Cruz, a 105.2 mile an hour throw to Henry Davis at home plate. Hank Davis waited to the last second to catch that ball and apply the tag to Crawford, who for some strange reason didn't slide, but 99.9% of the time, that is an easy RBI single, but Cruz, with the hardest thrown ball by a position player this year, gets Crawford at home. That was the other lone bright spot yesterday besides watching Paul Skeens pitch. So, yeah, things come crashing down to earth. I thought maybe, after that 6-game win streak, which I know over the course of a season, you're going to see teams get on hot streaks, but not like that, where the Pirates blow out game after game the highest active payroll in baseball, and then not give up a single run to one of their division rivals. I thought, after that, they're heading over to Seattle, they're going to the West Coast, time change, holiday weekend, all that. I will understand if they drop 1 or 2 games of the series, but at least be competitive. Damn. This right here sums it up. Of course, I think we could all, without seeing this statistic, could have easily predicted that the Pirates were the first team in MLB history to do this, but needless to say, this from Off the Sports, the Pirates were shut out in all 3 games of their series against the Mariners after shutting out the Cardinals in all 3 games of their previous series. They are the first team in MLB history to have back-to-back series of 3+ games with a sweep of shutouts for and against in either order. So the Pirates, once again, making history, but for all the wrong reasons. In year 6 of a rebuild, congratulations, Ben Cherington, on all that you've accomplished, which isn't a damn thing as Pirates general manager. One of the worst general managers in the history of baseball, still running this team after one of the worst managers, Derek Shelton, got fired a couple months ago. Also, Paul Skeens, now through his last 13 starts, he has 1 win with a 1.72 ERA. Sounds completely fictitious, but it's true. Also, he is the second pitcher in MLB history to record a 19-start span of a regular season with a sub-2 ERA, 90-plus strikeouts, and fewer than 5 wins. The other pitcher to do that, of course, a guy who's pretty much was Paul Skeens before Paul Skeens, Jacob deGrom, back when he was with the Mets. Begin the year with a sub-2 ERA, 90-plus strikeouts, and fewer than 5 wins. The same exact player, Paul Skeens and Jacob deGrom. The Mets absolutely flamed out with deGrom, failed him back when, he was easily the best pitcher in baseball, one of the best pitchers that the game has seen since, Nolan Ryan days. And now Paul Skeens is just following in his footsteps, playing for an inferior organization that doesn't know how to win no matter what they do. And then he'll go somewhere else and have success on a team that actually cares and knows how to win. So that's how the Pirates are going. They will continue playing tonight. 2 more series to go before the All-Star break. Also, I do not know who else is in the home run derby. I know I said Skeens is the lone All-Star, but you maybe got to think, even though you're not an All-Star, can you go to the home run derby? O'Neal Cruz could be going to that, but I doubt it. So Skeens, he is the lone All-Star. Like I was saying, Pirates, they have 2 more series to go before the All-Star break. They begin Game 1 of this penultimate series before the break. Tonight in Kansas City against the Royals. Should be another fun series for them, going up against Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez. Sure they are going to do quite well against the Bucks. Lineup tonight for the Pirates, Tommy Pham batting leadoff. He is, like all the other bats after that homestand, cooled off, and now he is up batting leadoff tonight, an off night for Spencer Horwitz. So Tommy Pham leading off, Andrew McCutchen DH, Bryan Reynolds in right. More news on Reynolds later on in the stream. Nick Gonzalez at second base, Ke'Bryan Hayes batting fifth at third base. How the hell he's that high up in the lineup is quite a indictment and damnation of Ben Cherington's skills in acquiring bats. Alexander Canario, boy, it's nice to see you for the first time in a long time. He bats sixth tonight, playing in center field, so an off night for O'Neal Cruz. Henry Davis back behind the dish for a second straight game. At this point, I don't think Joey Bart's been the same since suffering that concussion. I hope things turn around for him, but at this point, lost season, I think you have a baseline of what Joey Bart is, seeing what he did last year. So Henry Davis back behind the plate for a second game in a row. I give Hank like a nice 3-4 start runway every now and again just to see what you have in him in this lost season. Jared Triolo playing at first tonight in place of Spencer Horwitz, and rounding out the lineup, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Andrew Heaney on the bump tonight for the Buccos. I think he was, originally scheduled to start yesterday's ball game, but they, for some reason, switched he and Skeens, probably, like I just said, to try to get Skeens to the All-Star game, or get him in the All-Star game. He's going there, but no guarantee that he pitches. They want him probably fresh to pitch then. So that's how it is for the Bucks. Once again, as always, sell the team Bob. Ben Chering, get the hell out of town. He should not, under any circumstances, be running this upcoming draft or the trade deadline, but he will be. Which, by the way, firing a general manager, we just found out that it isn't an impossibility. Other baseball news, the Washington Nationals yesterday, they fired their general manager and manager. I think it was Rizzo, whatever his first name was. He was their general manager. And then Martinez, their manager. Both of them out. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. So, those two are gone. No idea how their draft is going to be run, but that should be a flashing neon bright sign right in Bob Nutting's face that, hey, you're allowed to do this. You're allowed to get rid of the manager or the general manager that hasn't done jack over 6 years now and will continue not to do anything. Best bat acquisition in terms of trades, probably Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. That's not good enough. Best bat that he's ever drafted, Nick Gonzalez, which, okay, but then go down the list then of all the other failed bat acquisitions. Just, I'm frustrated as all hell with this team. We had that, like I said, that brief commercial break of happiness and success, and maybe, hopefully, a glimpse of what this team could be if they were ran properly over that 6-game homestand. And now here we are, back to our misery. So, all fun in Pirates world. 10 of you in here right now. Welcome to the stream. Any thoughts, questions, opinions that you have on any of our lovely Pittsburgh sports teams, please be sure to get those in the comments section. You want to talk about football, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey, Omar Khan, let me know there. You want to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates and how miserable they are to watch on a nightly basis now, by all means. Or if you want to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins and their ongoing rebuild, you can certainly chime in with that. That's what we're going to talk about next right here. The last of the big news stories that I have today, the development camp for the Pittsburgh Penguins wrapped up today. They had a 3-team tournament. They played 4-on-4 hockey. It was Team Stevens versus Team Patrick versus Team Johnston, and it was Team Stevens, I believe, that took home the Michelle Briere Cup in this 4-on-4 tournament. Lots of skill flash there on the ice today. It was the scrimmages, they began at 12 p.m., and lots of excitement, lots of good skills shown off by these prospects. Just going to go over some of the players who should be highlighted here. Bill Zonan, what a find in the mid first round. He has been already for the Pens. I think draft night, you get caught up in, the high profile names. Like, I wanted the Pens to trade up and get Porter Martone. Also would have settled for them taking, Victor Eklund, Kashawn Eichenson, Jackson Smith, a couple others as well. Unfortunately, that it didn't happen, but they settled, got 3 first-round picks, took Ben Kindle, took Bill Zonan, and Will Horkoff. Kindle today, I wasn't there at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex to watch this scrimmage. It was open to the public, but from what I saw, video-wise and online, I don't think, he was too noticeable out there. But Bill Zonan, my goodness, that kid, he might be fast-tracked to the NHL before we know it. Out there for Team Stevens, the winning team today, he was out on an absolute tear. You can tell he's shifty, very smart player. He's can fly like the wind as well. Lots of people, given different players of play styles, who he mimics. I think he's going to be a good all-around player for this club someday. Scored at least 1 goal today. One video I saw in particular, got behind the defense, got a backdoor feed, and he just buried a beauty 5-hole. So he looked outstanding. Another kid who looked outstanding, guy who has picked 2 selections after him, Will Horkoff from Michigan. Penn's first-round pick, 24th overall, 6'5". He looks every bit of that. Just an absolute massive player. Was probably the most built player out there on the ice. You can tell he's going to be a outstanding power forward for this team, hopefully someday. Was, able to shield the puck from others with his massive frame, and you can just tell that size is going to give him an advantage in, his stride. I think I saw a video he took on a 1-on-2 and scored. So, Will Horkoff and Bill Zonan, 2 of the 3 first-round picks this past year from Kyle Dubas. Keep an eye on them. They are going to be fun to watch. Also, a couple other prospects that apparently had good days. Cruz Lucius, he was brought over from the Carolina Hurricanes in the Jake Gensel trade a couple of years ago. He had a nice snipe and a nice showing here today. Tom Kostopoulos, one of the Penguins' head directors of player development, he was out there today, said defenseman Una Väisänen, who I think was a draft pick last year, was one of his personal standouts. And last one here, Harrison Brunick. That is going to be a name that I think you will be seeing in the black and gold, possibly out of preseason this year. 2nd-round pick last year, was the Penguins' first pick of last year's draft. They had 2 second-rounders. He was the first pick. Defenseman, right-handed shot. Probably one of the best all-around showings that you saw from one of these prospects in development camp in a long time. You can tell, he played in minors last year, showed very, very well last preseason and last development camp with the team. Went back to his junior team. I think it's is it the Kamloops Blazers? I am not too sure of that, but anyway, went back to the minors and then wrapped up the year with Wilkes-Barre in the AHL. But he looks outstanding. I think he will make the team at some point this season. He will be up at the NHL at some point this upcoming season, maybe even right out of training camp, like I just said, especially, if an Erik Karlsson trade will come to fruition here in the coming weeks. But yeah, great stuff from Harrison Brunick, Will Horkoff, Bill Zonan, the top prospects in this organization. They are showing why they're the top prospects and why Kyle Dubas picked them up. Hopefully, lots of that, lots good of that to come here in the coming years. Future is bright. Don't necessarily need him for next year. I think we all know next year it's going to be a rough one for the Penguins, and for good reasons. Looking to secure the future of the franchise, possibly win the draft lottery next year, and go get Gavin McKenna, which, by the way, what a storyline it would be if they do go get Gavin McKenna this time next year in the draft, because today he officially committed to Penn State University. What a storyline it would be if he stays in state, gets a little bit of a feeling about what Pennsylvania life is like, and the Penguins can hopefully pick him up next year. So, exciting time for the hockey team in terms of looking to the future. We all are going to get dragged through the mud with this team this year. It's going to be long at times. It's going to be painful, but we're looking towards the future here, and the future seems bright. These young prospects in this camp and at these practices this weekend, they looked very promising. So, looking to the future. Forget this season ever even happened as soon as the final horn of the last game goes, because we'll be looking towards brighter days ahead and a return to prominence in the NHL. Also, a couple other things related to training camp. Dan Muse and the rest of the coaching staff, his new coaching staff, I would say, they spoke for the first time, together as a group at the same place. They didn't get interviewed together, but they were all in the same place for the first time. Dan Muse talking about his coaching staff. I knew that having a mix of experiences, backgrounds, some different ideas, and also bring in people that have some core philosophies that are similar and they're aligned, you want that. So hopefully some quick development of these younger players from this coaching staff. Of course, the final hiring, I believe, was Mike Stothers, former coach in the Anaheim Ducks organization, that was made late last week. Cancer survivor, too, so you can't help but like that guy. Also funny, too. I think I saw one of the reporters say, a really easy guy to talk to. Just two other news stories here about prospects from Penn's camp. Mikhail Ilyin, Penguins' top prospect, from the top Russian prospect, I should say, played in the KHL last year, came over here for development camp. He will be going back over to the KHL per assistant general manager Jason Spensa, and that the Penguins hope he will be ready to come over to the U.S. full-time in the 2026-27 season. He's another one of those bright prospects, not top of the board, like being put up there with your Bill Zonans and Harrison Brunicks of the world, but I think a solid player, solid goal scorer. Hopefully he can come over to the United States full-time next year. And also, last one here, Tanner Howell, who was the other second-round pick from last year's draft with Harrison Brunick, still recovering from a torn ACL. He will begin the year, probably stay the whole year with Wilkes-Barre Scranton, so hopefully a fully healed ACL and a full healthy season ahead of him. And that does it for Penn's development camp. I'm sure regular camp will be starting here soon. We got the preseason schedule recently from the Bucks. I'm trying to scroll back here and find it. Let's see, do I have it here somewhere? Excuse me. There's a bunch of stuff I have saved here on the Bucks from their free agency period so far. Anyway, I can't find it right now, but yeah, hockey getting closer as well, same as football. More excitement for football, of course, but hopefully some promising things to look forward to in the preseason. Think, I'll have my eye more intently on in the preseason, looking at the prospects. Probably, maybe even more than watching regular season games. Who knows? Okay, going to get into the more Pittsburgh news segment here in a couple of moments. 10 of you in here right now. Thank you for staying put throughout the stream. Appreciate you all joining me. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like and share this stream and comment in the live chat. Anything that you would like to say, put those in there, and I can pop those up on the screen at a moment's notice. Wrapping up here, just seeing this 2 minutes ago from, I believe, Michelle Crecchiolo, Penn's Inside Scoop on X. She does a great job covering the Penguins. Pretty cool story here I'm seeing. On his way out today, Penguins' 5th-round pick this year, Quinn Beauchene, made a point to personally thank all team staffers and media members for the experience this week. I thought that was a really nice gesture. Seems like a great kid and a lot of character and personality. That is absolutely awesome to see. I don't necessarily think that this past draft that you are going to get see like too many full-blown stars or even above average players come out of this draft class for the Pens, but stuff like that, Quinn Beauchene, Will Horikov, Charlie Trethway, another kid, Peyton Kettles, or Ryan Kettles, excuse me. No, is it Peyton or Ryan? I forget. Anyways, this draft class for the Penguins wasn't really one of those where you go hunting for the guys who you think are going to be stars. This was a quantity over quality draft where you're going to see guys like these characters, guys who bring certain skill sets to the team that are going to fill out this roster quite nicely when the team returns to contention one day. Okay, now we are going to get into the more Pittsburgh news segment of the program. Only one extra football story here today, and it's I don't even think really all that important. It's kind of something that I at least think that things are going to play out this way. Pat McAfee show Steelers insider Mark Caboli on 93.7 The Fan last Thursday or Friday said that the Steelers, they would be more likely to sign another safety than they are a wide receiver, and that the team believes in Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson to fill in quite nicely in terms of, a solidified number 2 wide receiver. And now, with the addition of Jonnu Smith, dare I say, I'm cool with it. Honestly, I think you acquire Jonnu Smith, he isn't going to be your third tight end who is not on the field that much, like how maybe Jerry Dulac from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette thinks. So I think you're going to see a ton of plays and formations featuring the tight ends a whole bunch. At that point, if you're going to have 2 tight ends out there on the field all the time, do you really need to go out and expend a lot of resources in a wide receiver too? I mean, honestly, Calvin Austin, high-end wide receiver 3, in my opinion. Maybe there's another step to his game that we just don't know about yet to where he then can become, a low-end wide receiver too, but he's a hell of a player. I think a lot of us forget that from time to time. Also, Roman Wilson missed all of last year. Can't forget, he's a 3rd-round pick. You got to put that kid on the field. And looking at the videos that we've seen from mini camp and OTAs from a couple of weeks ago, he looks poised to have a breakout official rookie season here. So 2 tight ends now, Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, 1A, 1B. I'm cool with those guys getting a ton of production instead of, just going out and getting another wide receiver too. Because in terms of wide receivers, you also got DK Metcalf on the other side. Having 2 smaller guys who can get lost in coverage like Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, I think those guys would be, a better fit anyways than bringing in another, wide receiver anyway. So if Kabuli, if what he's hearing is accurate and the Steelers are going to, favor getting another safety, which, hey, I think that would probably be for the best. Do I have confidence that Juan Thornhill and Deshaun Elliott could do an adequate job as your 2 starting safeties? Yeah. Do I think Sebastian Castro, your current safety number 3, undrafted free agent out of Iowa, do I think he could be an absolute steal and could be a contributor on this team? Yeah, but getting another safety, I'm going to put that for now above getting another wide receiver. Now, if, say, one of those 3 wide receivers I mentioned, Metcalf, Austin, or Wilson, go down in training camp, then we'll revisit this conversation. But right now, if Kabuli says that Steelers aren't going to be looking into getting a wide receiver 2 at this point, I can live with it. What do you guys think about that? So that was the lone extra football news story I had. Back to the baseball world here for a second. Bryan Reynolds, apparently, from this here from Noah Hiles of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, he is in the middle of a little bit of trade rumors right now. He's not the most talked about Pirate player who could be moved before the deadline. I think that can be, more accurately described as Mitch Keller, Key Brian Hayes, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, a couple guys from the bullpens. But Bryan Reynolds, he is being mentioned out there as a possible, player to get traded from the Pirates. And according to Noah Hiles, submitted a no-trade list that comprised of 6 playoff teams. I wonder if this is like hockey or football, where you get like a 10-team no-trade list. But get this here. Apparently, this again from Noah Hiles, it's from a pretty, well reputationed reporter here in Hiles, but it's not 100% confirmed. Apparently, these 6 playoff teams on Bryan Reynolds' no-trade list: the New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays, New York Mets, Los Angeles Dodgers, San Francisco Giants, and San Diego Padres. That's crazy, because you are taking off quite the bit of teams here that I'm sure have interest in a good bit of players on the Pirates. There's a trade rumor out there, to go along with a report also from Noah Hiles. The Mets, they're in contacts with the Bucks about a trade. Mitch Keller at the center of that trade talk. A rumor that the Pirates could be getting a shortstop back in the deal. But, yeah, like, the Padres, they've been looking for a left fielder for most of this season. Reynolds, even though he's playing right this year, he could go out there and go into left field. The San Francisco Giants, not sure if they would have interest in Reynolds, but I'm sure they would just look to, get another bat in general. The LA Dodgers, they're always buying players, no matter how deep they are at other positions. The Mets, highest active payroll in baseball. What's, adding another player on a somewhat sizable contract. The Blue Jays, not sure about the Blue Jays, because, I think they got Anthony Santander up there as a big addition. Not sure what their outfield situation is exactly. I know they got George Springer as well. And then the Yankees, even though they got Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger and Jason Dominguez, they could, use a guy to rotate in there. So that's pretty crazy to me that Reynolds has those teams in general, all those playoff teams, which pretty much, all of those teams, World Series contenders. I mean, I can't find too many, uh, you know, holes in the cases of either of any of those teams being, you know, uh, why World Series contenders, but I guess doesn't want to, go to a big market, or in the Blue Jays case, go across the border. Because Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, big market. He's going to all big market teams, 3 California teams and 2 New York teams and a team across the border. So all big markets in their own right. The L.A., San Diego area, massive media market. New York, of course, pretty much the media capital of the world. And then Toronto, that's basically Canada's New York. So interesting there from Bryan Reynolds. Hopefully he stays put. It would be absolutely insane, not only for Reynolds to get traded, because even at his worst, Reynolds is still probably a top 5 hitter on this team, but also Ben Cherington. You cannot trust him to pull the trigger on any of these trades. Especially, sending him to, if you were to send him to a team, you'd need to make sure that you're getting back top prospects. And I have no faith in Cherington whatsoever that he would, make the right move. So Bryan Reynolds, hopefully staying put. I think it's unlikely he gets moved, but we'll revisit that here in about a month after the trade deadline has passed. Of course, that deadline is the 31st, so it's coming up quickly. Some other news here for the Pirates. Couple of roster moves. First off, this one here just came across the wire 15 minutes ago. The Pirates have ended the rehab assignment of right-handed relief pitcher Colin Holderman. He has officially been reinstated from the 15-day injured list and optioned to AAA Indianapolis. So he will not, how it's been common that players, when their rehab assignment ends, they return to the big leagues. Holderman, that is not the case. He's going to stay in AAA and try to work through whatever funk he has going on at the MLB level right now. Also, a couple other roster moves. Right-handed starting pitcher Johan Oviedo, his rehab assignment has been transferred from the Florida Complex League Pirates to Low-A Bradenton. So I think he might spend, a couple weeks here in Bradenton and then maybe get moved up to Indianapolis or Altoona, excuse me. So hopefully we get to see Oviedo back here soon. Give a nice boost to this pitching staff, even though they're not the ones that really need it. 2 other moves here, minor league roster moves. Last week, right-handed relief pitchers Johan Ramirez, and Peter Strzelecki, they have both been released from their contracts with the AAA Indianapolis Indians. Ramirez, he has since returned and has re-signed with the Indians on a minor league contract. However, Strzelecki, he is now gone. He is signing a minor league contract with the Tampa Bay Rays. So lots of movement in the Pirates organization over the past couple of days, but will it matter? Probably not, because this team is still run by a bunch of morons. Back wrapping this thing up here, a couple of hockey news stories. We talked about Gavin McKenna officially committing to Penn State University. Wonder what ticket prices would be to go, check him out at a game in Happy Valley. Anyways, former Penguin is now getting a new coaching job, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think that this guy was a coach out there, available for hire. But congratulations to Mark Letestu. He is now head coach of the Colorado Avalanche minor league team, AHL team, the Colorado Eagles. So congratulations to Letestu on getting that gig, and a former another former Penguin here. He is also on the move, but in this case, he's kind of staying put as well. Anthony Beauvillier was a part of the Pens last year, then got flipped at the deadline for a second-round pick to the Washington Capitals. He is now re-signed with the Capitals, a 2-year, $5.5 million extension there for him to $0.75 million per year. I think that is all the extra news stories that I have here. Gonna see if anything else is going on online here. Of course, seeing the video again and again, Aaron Rodgers and the crew working out together. Also, I actually did have one more thing. Apparently, one NHL insider this past week said that the trade market in the NHL could be heating up over the next week. And you got to wonder, could Erik Karlsson soon be gone? I think the Detroit Red Wings, maybe Toronto Maple Leafs have interest in him. Brian Rust, Rickard Rakell, could they be picking up a lot of interest from players or from teams? I'm sure of it. This year, like I said when I was live for the opening of free agency last weekend, a very bare free agency market. Lots of the top players ended up re-signing with their own teams, so there wasn't much out there for teams to fill big holes in their roster, and that makes the trade market very seller advantageous right now. So Kyle Dubas, I'm sure he's working the phones like crazy. Erik Karlsson, I'm cool if he goes. Rickard Rakell, Brian Rust, I'd hate to see them go, but hey, I would understand it if you can get back a hell of a return in a very high seller's market right now. So we'll see what comes of it here. We'll monitor the situation. I will come live the moment any of those potential trades come to fruition. Scroll in here, seeing if there's any other bits of news out there before we call it a day. Pirates once again beginning game 1 of a 3-game series in Kansas City against the Royals tonight. First pitch now a little over an hour away at 7:40. So we'll watch that, see if they can actually score a run. See if they can do a damn thing other than let the starting pitching down. So we'll go watch and enjoy the misery, I guess. All we can do. Laugh through it. We'll laugh through it. The Pirates are a comedy, and they will continue to be a comedy as long as this general manager and this owner run the team. So I'm going to call it there for a night, on for over an hour tonight. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it, as always. 12 of you in here right now for the final time. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like, share, and after the fact, comment on this live stream. We are up to 463 subscribers. Gained 2 more since we have been live. I, unfortunately, cannot see who it is exactly who subscribed, but if you're still here, thank you very much. I appreciate it as always. And that's going to do it for tonight. Let's go see how the Pirates do and enjoy a pretty warm summer here in Western Pennsylvania. Excuse me. So have a good night, everyone. Let's go, Bucks. See if they can do anything. Have a great rest of your Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a wonderful 4th of July, and I will see you back here tomorrow night around the same time for some more Pittsburgh sports news. Have a good one. Peace.